You are the future who has refused to sleep not knowing its true self. The future which is holding us to ancient ethos that ayikho inkomo yobuthongo. We won't achieve anything by just chilling. You are constantly reminding us that time for selling out and tripping over policies, moving in circles, recycling Western definitions of education is over. You are constantly reminding us that a time for gloating about crimes of our diamonds and gold, while letting other nations use them to adorn their lands with shima is over.
What I loved about Breaking Borders Africa is how engaging and honest it is in terms of creating African inclusivity. It's the one space where there's no more rhetoric about African Renaissance that was once known 50 years ago as something very powerful, but creating and realizing our own new problems and carrying the way forward.
Have a sense of the Africa you want. Understand how you're going to get there. Entrepreneurship, technology, education, continental integration, fourth industrial revolution, beneficiation. These are the weapons you can use to get to the top.
NASPA spent $32 million in 2001 on their investment in Tencent. That is now worth $175 billion. Wouldn't that have been a great story if it was two African companies investing in each other and getting those kinds of returns? That's the level we should aspire to as Africans, my friends. How are we ensuring that media platforms that are owned and serviced by us are successful so they can keep telling the story, our own story, the way we want to be told?
The importance of integrating girls into the education system. We talked about how everyone at the summit is a leader starting from today and how we need to break down borders starting from our own families.
We need to find ways how then, if we've done something 100 times, it means that somewhere, somehow, something is wrong. Let us then, meet. Let us then talk to each other. Let's have dialogue where we find new and different and hopefully better ways to continue to be able to confront it.
The opportunities that are available for young people, we may think that they are few and far between, but we need to have an integrated center where opportunities that come from various departments or from the private sector or from agriculture, for example.
Exchange, for those who are in media and stuff, let's exchange that platform so that we can actually sell products towards each other and break borders, because we can't beat the Chinese and others if we're failing to have a meeting like this and then even don't have an exchange, like there's someone who knows something.
So if every one of you who's here takes a leave, takes away something back to your communities, can really change the continent.
Given the historical foundation of the state in Africa as an extractive institution and the location of Africa in the global capitalist order, regional integration is imperative. But this imperative should not be limited to economic integration, but cultural integration, social integration, political integration, people-to-people integration, in a continuum that will allow the identity of Africa to be recreated for what it was.
My desire is very simple. As a Pan-African, actually, I think we need to have a borderless Africa. I don't think these borders are colonial constructs. We need to have less borders and more access or free travel of goods and people across the continent. I also think there's a need for a Pan-African movement where the dream of Kwame Nkrumah and the founding fathers, for Africa to be connected, we need to go back to the dream of United States of Africa. I think more so we also need to get to ensure that young people in Africa are more empowered, they have more jobs, that we don't have to have the brain drain and people drown in the Mediterranean Sea trying to go to Italy or Europe.
I believe youths are the greatest untapped reservoir of talent in the world. And once you understand that as a young person, you can do anything in this world. I'm young, and this is my idea, and everybody will get your idea.
The importance of carrying on the legacy from understanding that we've gained political independence and we need to find economic autonomy. And one thing that I really loved is how he gave us a sense of ownership towards the current problems that we're seeing in Africa and moving forward. And the most important thing is to create that legacy where 100 years from now, all our problems that we have that we're facing right now are myths, basically.
Leadership is a behavior. Leadership is not a position. Leadership is a way of life. Leadership is about values. And I address the question, are leaders born or are leaders created? And my argument is very simple, none of the above. Leaders are neither born nor are they created. Leadership is a decision. Leadership is a choice. And my challenge and charge to the young people today was to say, choose to be a leader. Decide to be a leader. Leadership is a choice. Leadership is a decision.
Breaking Down Borders Africa Youth Summit 2018.